By 2. LeBron for the lead. Not there. Sacramento's gonna win the game. They bounce back tonight and losing 106-102 to Utah. And they come into Staples Center and the Lakers are reeling. No other way to put it.
I knew I would, getting back to 100%, it's impossible. I don't think I will ever get back to 100% in my career.
No.
Laker fans, let's talk about what's going on. We are less than 2 weeks away from the start of the play-in tournament in the 2021 NBA playoffs, and the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers are not looking like the favorites to come out of the Western Conference and battle for the NBA championship, as of right now. And to make matters worse, the Lakers are in a position where they may fall to the 7th seed and have to compete in the play-in tournament. We all know how difficult the season has been for many teams, especially the Lakers. Only 72 days for an offseason, health restrictions that led to players missing games, such as Dennis Schroeder, who will be gone for at least another week due to safety health protocols. Your second best player in Anthony Davis has missed 30 games, and then your best player LeBron James has already missed 20 games. If this was any other team in the NBA who had to deal with these issues, they'd most likely be a lottery team fighting for a top 5 pick. But the Lakers, even with all the pressing issues they've encountered this year, have somehow stayed competitive and will make the playoffs. But on the other side, since the month of April, the Lakers' tough situations have seemed to catch up to them, and their on-court performance has dipped significantly than what we've seen earlier this season. Let's take a deep look into the Lakers' recent production and see if it's time to press the panic button. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Let's get into the video. Before April 1st, the Lakers were tied with the Denver Nuggets for the 4th seed with a record of 30-18. You look at their season stats up to that point, and you see the Lakers were still a highly competitive team in the NBA. The number 1 defensive rating to go along with their highly touted defense exhibited that the Lakers still put a lot of effort on the defensive side of the ball. When you look at the offensive statistics, including that Bron and AD were out, it's somewhat impressive that the Lakers were average at best without their 2 All-NBA superstars. But if you look at the performance of the Lakers since April 1st, you'll notice a distinct dissimilarity in the Lakers' play. The Lakers have gone 7-10 since April 1st, and in their last 10 games, including their last game which was a win against the Denver Nuggets, the Lakers are 3-7, not what you'd expect from a contending team right before the playoffs. Currently the 6th seed with a half-game lead above the 7th-seeded Portland Trailblazers, the Lakers need to get back to the championship ways or they'll end up fighting for the 7th and 8th seed in the play-in tournament. Dennis Schroeder did not play in the last 2 games due to COVID protocols and will be out for another week like I said before. And LeBron James re-injured his ankle in a loss to the Raptors on May 2nd and missed the Nuggets game and will miss the next 2 games as well. The Lakers' offense has taken a dip, and that's seen by their drop in offensive rating in regards to the entire NBA. But AD is back. Surely the Lakers could find a way to win more games, right? Well, it's not as easy just to put it into words. AD's stats since he returned on April 17th have been not up to par with the numbers we're familiar with AD producing. And I think this is due to the fact that AD is playing with an entirely different team than he once played with before he was injured. The introduction of Andre Drummond, more minutes to give to new guys such as Taylor Horton-Tucker, and the unavailability of your 2 best playmakers in LeBron and Dennis Schroeder will allow defenses to keen on AD a lot more easier knowing there isn't another imposing playmaker on the floor with AD. Just think about it. If you watch Laker games, you know AD loves to work in the high post, and it essentially works well when AD and Bron are on the court or when there are a multitude of shooters on the court. The defense has to respect where Bron is and potential shooters, and this gives AD more space to operate and make a play. Look at AD's percentages when shooting before he was injured this year in different areas of the court. All pretty respectable concerning the type of player Anthony Davis is. But when you look at his splits since coming back, you can see the drop in efficiency, and that's due to the fact that other teams are focusing on AD, and the Lakers are not making other teams pay from 3-point land as well. I think that the return of AD has made a lot of Laker players have to adjust quickly now that the offense will run through Anthony Davis, and that's understandable. A lot of guys on the Lakers squad such as Taylor Horton-Tucker and Markieff Morris have had great production during the stretch that AD was gone, and if role players like THT, Markieff, Kuzma, Caruso, etc. can be productive with AD while he gains his rhythm while Bron and Schroeder are gone, the Lakers will be in a much better situation offensively. But this can all be solved once the Lakers are fully healthy and Bron and Dennis are back on the floor. I think the biggest issue I see with the Lakers, and it sounds crazy coming from this team, is their defense. The Lakers won the NBA title last year playing tight-knit defense and limiting the offensive scoring production of NBA superstars such as Damian Lillard, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and even Jimmy Butler. The same energy level on the defensive side of the ball could be seen in part of this season. But as of late, the Lakers have slid in that department, allowing teams to shoot the ball much more efficiently against them. almost bottom 5 in many defensive categories in their last 10 games in the entire NBA. Allowing more teams to get to the free throw line, defensive mishaps, not knowing when to switch, can all lead to the fact that the Lakers need to tighten up their defense before the playoffs begin. I think this is due to the fact that the Lakers have had new pieces come in and out of the rotation. Andre Drummond still needs improvement on the defensive side of the ball, as teams still look to attack him in the pick and roll, and the Lakers are still implementing him into their championship level system. It's going to take some time, but I see progress. Andre Drummond has never played on a team that expects postseason success, so this level of play is something to get adjusted to. Out of all the bigs on the Lakers roster, he has the highest defensive rating with 110.8, but the blame doesn't sit solely on Drummond's doorstep. The Lakers are allowing teams to shoot close to 40% from 3 and nearly 50% from the field. That's not one player's fault. That's the entire unit, and you can see why they fall in the defensive rating. Well, it's easy to point out the faults, but can all of this be fixed before the end of the regular season? I believe so. I think once AD gains his rhythm with this new rotation and performs to his standard on the offensive side of the ball, the Lakers will be more than ready to face any team in the postseason, assuming LeBron and Dennis Schroeder are back in the lineup. Offensively, they'll be okay. And if you can build that chemistry around Andre Drummond on the defensive side of the ball and get back to the top-rated defensive play within this season, the Lakers will look like the same feared team to deal with in the postseason. LeBron mentioned he may never get back to 100%, but we all know playoff Bron is always something special. And with a team full of guys who have championship experience, such as Marc Gasol, who has proven late in this season that he still deserves minutes to help the Lakers win games, the Lakers will very much be a threat to any team they face, no matter what seed they are. Now, looking at the Lakers' remaining schedule, their next 3 games will be the most important games of the season. The Clippers will be a tough outing, but the Lakers should use this game to get their offense back on track. Friday night's game against the Portland Trail Blazers will have many seeding implications, and it's important that the Lakers win that game so they can hold a tiebreaker over the 7-seeded Blazers. Then you have the Suns, who want to prove that they are the true favorites to come out of the Western Conference. The Lakers have to play their best ball during this stretch, and it's going to take more than just Anthony Davis or any other player to carry this team. The entire team will have to step up, and it's going to have to start from where the Lakers have always excelled, their defense. After those 3 games, the Lakers then play the Knicks, Rockets, Pacers, and the Pelicans, all in which the Lakers should be favorited to win. What do you think? Do you think the Lakers need to press the panic button? Or do you think the Lakers are still the favorites to come out of the Western Conference? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and hit that bell notification so you never miss a video. Smash that sub button, of course. And as always, stay on beat.